Hello everyone, Darius Skybound here, bringing you another tutorial. Today we're going to be covering leveling, but unlike other guides that try to tell you how quickly you can level up to the max level as fast as possible, we're covering a different facet. Instead of telling you how fast you can level up, we're going to be talking about how many ways you can level up, because one of the biggest problems in MMOs in particular is burnout. It won't matter how fast you level up to 60, 70, 80 if you're too bored to continue the game after you get there. So this guide will be telling you all the ways that you can level up so you can still have fun by doing things that are refreshing and different and just leveling up continuously while doing it in different ways so you don't face that harsh burnout. Now, before we get down to business, I'd like to direct you to my channel. I make a lot of other videos of guides and machinima jokes, and I put a lot of effort into there. So if you went there and looked at some, I'd appreciate it. You don't have to subscribe or like a video, just look at it. The more people that look at it, the happier I am that my jokes are actually being seen by somebody. So just take a look. That's all you gotta do. And so without further ado, here is your leveling variety guide. First and foremost, let's hit the most obvious things. We have dungeons and the roulette. Dungeons, you just go in there, kill monsters, beat the boss, etc. We all know this, right? But the roulette system, you got various forms of roulette. You got the trials, you've got the 8-man raids, the 24-man raids, the basic 4-man dungeons. You can even become a mentor and start mentoring lower levels and helping them out. There's a lot of roulettes to basically keep things a bit fresh. You could even do main scenario if you're that crazy. There's even roulette for PvP that gives you quite a good bit of experience. We'll cover that later. But roulette is a very good thing to have to, gain levels and stuff like that. And we have a challenge log, which also is reflected with the roulette system to give you more experience. Roulette is the way to go if you want EXP. There's also a variety of things, so you can take on different boss fights and stuff like that. So it's pretty refreshing, but it's the basic. It's the vanilla way of getting experience, but we have to cover it anyways. This is just the obvious. If you get bored with one type of roulette, just cover them all. There's a lot of variety. Do them. Next, we have destroying monsters in just the open world. I mean, you get some experience points, and there can be times when you just want to top off. You can kill a lot of monsters for experience, but it's usually not that good of an idea just to kill monsters in the open world. Dungeons give a lot more experience points. However, if you're trying to do out Blue Mage, the limited job, open world killing of monsters is the best way to get experience points, and it is pretty good and it's fun. But if it's any class other than the Blue Mage, it's not so much worth it. But sometimes, especially at lower levels, killing a bunch of just open world mobs can give you some good experience. And if you're just bored, go out there with a stick and beat everything to death. Sidequests are another form of experience gain that some of us might neglect just to go in the speed running through dungeons and stuff, but they can give a little bit of experience, and they have a story and they're fun. And Final Fantasy XIV is all about the story, so don't neglect all of them. If you have a chance to do it for a bit of experience points, just do it so you don't burn out on just getting experience points through dungeons and stuff. Running them back to back can be boring, but at least the side quest is always different. Guildhests is another way to gain experience, though it's really more meant for lower levels. Higher levels really don't get that much return from it, but at the same time there still is a roulette for it and a challenge log, which means you can get a bit of experience for just doing a little bit with there, and some of them are pretty quick. So, I mean, what's there to lose? Do a few Guildhests, change things up, get a little bit of experience. It's, it's something. Fates are a form of experience gain that's usually only done in the newer content areas about the first year, and usually kind of relaxed and not many people do it afterwards. But they're actually a very good form of experience gain, especially because of the challenge log. Now they're removing some of the challenge log for Shadowbringers, but now they're bringing even more challenge log for it, so it's a good idea to go ahead and just think of Fates, even if you're under the current content. It's still a way to get experience, it's helpful, and it's refreshing. That's the most important thing. Take the variety and just do it. It's a great way to get experience. Levequests are another kind of experience gain that a lot of disciples of Magic and War overlook. It's generally used for disciples of Land in Hand for gathering and crafting and all that. But for Disciples of Magic and War, there can actually be a pretty beneficial gain for it, particularly because there's a challenge log. So it's something to not completely overlook because there is a form of experience and it is different. That's always the key here in this video. Different is better. You don't want to burn out, so, you know, relax, do something different. Just take on a few Levequests. Now, beast tribes are something that I have a lot of passion for because not only do they give really good rewards, if you max out a beast tribe, you actually get more experience gain for it, which makes redoing a level at the start with them a pretty good way of getting experience points. They give quite a good bit. The missions aren't that, you know, slow. They're pretty quick, and so it's a good way to get experience points and rewards. And, you know, beast tribes are pretty fun if you ask me. Plus, the dances and emotes are just amazing. So there's something you should always consider. Deep dungeons like Palace of the Dead and Heaven on High are great ways to gain experience points, as well as very unique rewards. Another advantage of doing them is that they don't de-level you so much. Sure, if you start Palace of the Dead at level 1 and, you know, Heaven on High at level 60, you're not getting your full effect of abilities, but you level up so quickly in those dungeons, you gain those skills right back. And plus, if you start at certain floors, you start at max level, so that you don't have to worry about things like going through Satasha normal and having one attack. Deep dungeons are very challenging and fun to do, and so if you got a few friends to do it with too, you could even tackle more dungeons, but tackle it with a class that's lower leveled so you get experience with it too, and this will keep you very refreshed in the ways that you're trying to gain levels and experience. The hunting log is a form of experience gain for lower levels 1 through 50. It's not a very big game, but it's something that gets a lot of newer players into it. So if you have a lower level class, it's a good idea to do the hunting log just to get something different. You're fighting open world enemies, you're getting extra experience points for it. It's something different. But it only really works for levels 1 through 50. After that, we move on to Centurio Hunts. Centurio Hunts are a lot like the old hunting log, but you get these cards from these locations and then you go hunt specific monsters it tells you to. Each day and week is different for the hunts you got to take on, so you basically get to have a refreshing take on where you hunt. The experience gain is pretty good, and you can do this while you're waiting on dungeons, and you also get Centurio Seals when you do these hunts, which can be expended for various forms of armor or even other useful emotes and other trinkets. So it's a good thing to do for both the reward and the experience, and also variety and fun. PvP in Final Fantasy XIV is a great way to gain experience points, and probably pretty overlooked, because most people rather engage the PvE, but Final Fantasy XIV is primarily still a PvE game, but it has a really fun PvP mechanic system to it. There are a couple of fun game modes, and the biggest thing about PvP is win or lose, you're going to get a good amount of experience points, plus there's a roulette to it, so there's really no reason not to engage in some PvP. Go in there, get your butt kicked, get your experience points. It's free experience, and you can even trade in the wolf marks for various new items and such. Really good for cosmetics. But PvP is a very different way of gaining experience points, and that will help prevent burnout. So it's something to consider. If you're going after wolf marks or just having fun with PvP, you'll gain experience as a side effect, so it's a good way to gain experience. Now here's a form of experience that people probably don't think about, the Sightseeing Log. Various points around the map will have sightseeing locations that you can just usually use an emote such as /lookout, and it will then activate the Sightseeing Log and put it into your log so you can kind of view that and other things. It's just a weird system, but the big point is you actually gain experience points for it. There's not much experience when you do it, but they're free experience. So just change to a class that needs experience, do it, /lookout, get your experience. It's free, it's there, it's part of a system, and it gives you a reason just to go exploring. Instead of trying to go through a dungeon and gaining tons of experience, why not go through the Sightseeing Log and just see the views? Final Fantasy XIV is a beautiful game. Go out there, enjoy it in other ways than just killing things and leveling up. Well, that does it for my leveling variety guide. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this makes leveling seem less like a chore and a lot more relaxing for you. This is Dara Skybound, signing out.